Today we're taking a look at a battery power bank from the company INIU. Now this is their P73 SnapGo model. It is predominantly designed for Apple users because this is Apple MagSafe compatible. It is a 10,000 milliamp hour battery power bank, so you should be able to charge something like an iPhone 16 twice before it runs out of battery power, which is excellent. It also has two USB-C ports alongside the magnetic charger, so you can charge up to 3 devices at the same time, and it even has a couple of hidden features that I'm going to take you through as well. Cost-wise, it's currently priced at £40 in the UK, which I think is a pretty fair price for a 10,000 milliamp hour battery power bank with relatively fast wireless charging and the dual USB-C ports. Before we jump into the full review, I thought it was worth briefly going through who INIU is, because it's not a company I was hugely aware of before I reviewed this power bank. Now it turns out they've actually been around for a while, and they actually have some of the top selling power banks in the US and the UK and the rest of Europe as it happens. So they clearly have been around for a while, I just wasn't super aware of them. I don't think they've been doing a huge amount of marketing, but something seems to be working because I think they've sold millions of power banks, so pretty trustworthy from that perspective. I also like the fact that they seem to be going with their own designs and higher quality hardware than you often see from no-name brands. So you can often fall into a bit of a trap with power banks that you're essentially buying a white label product made by another company with a logo slapped onto it, and that's the power bank. This definitely isn't the case. This is like some of the bigger brands that you might be aware of that make power banks. They're definitely doing their own thing and have their own designs, which is really nice because I always feel that's a bit more trustworthy. They also talk a lot about wanting to choose higher quality components, which is perhaps why these aren't the cheapest power banks, but I think it makes up for it in the fact that you can probably trust them more, which is good, and also they're actually going to deliver on what they've promised. So let's jump into the look and feel of the INIU P73. I love the fact that it has a metal case. I think that's so important. It gives you a nice premium feel, but more importantly, it also gives you some structural rigidity and it makes it feel like it's not going to fall apart, which is always good. The back, where you have the MagSafe compatible charger, is of course plastic because you need that to actually charge the device, and metal wouldn't help there. So it is a plastic back and a metal surround and front, which is nice. On the front, you also have their little pour indicator, which tells you whether or not it is fully charged. You can press the button on the bottom and it'll light up the pour and the various toe beams essentially here, so you can work out how fully charged it is. Each one designates 20% of battery life, so if all 5 lit up, you know it's 100%, and if only one's lit up, you know it's 20%. Nice, simple, works pretty well. On the front, you might also notice that there's a little indentation, and this is the sort of hidden party trick of this. It has a built-in stand. So although this is designated as a power bank, if you have a MagSafe compatible phone, you can pop it on there, and it allows you to essentially use this as if you were just watching some media on a little stand on the device. Some people have stands built into their cases, some people buy dedicated stands. This has it all built in. I love the fact that the stand's hinge is completely metal, so it gives you some trustworthiness that this isn't going to fall apart. I think this is particularly useful if you're going to be out and about, say flying or on a train, you want to watch some content. This is a great way to do it. I love the fact they've included that. It's not the first time I've seen it, but it's one of the nicer implementations. And I like the fact they've used metal because it means it's not going to immediately snap off, which has definitely happened to me before. Of course, the main thing that you're going to worry about with this is the battery, because that's the important part. 10,000 milliamp hours is a good amount of charge, 2 full charges of an iPhone 16. It actually equates to a usable capacity of 35 watt hours. Now, that's what they write on the side of this. I love the fact they have the capacity of the batteries, which I think is about 37.8 watt hours, but they say total usable capacity, once you've accounted for losses, is 35. Now, I have my own battery testing equipment as of relatively recently, and I put this through its paces a number of times, and it actually turns out it has about 35.6 or 7 of usable watt hour capacity, which is fantastic. It's more than they've said on the box, or rather on the side of the device. So I like that. That's nice. They've under-promised and over-delivered. Always the best way to do things. The charger on this, the actual MagSafe charger, will charge your device at up to 15 watts. Now, for something like an iPhone, that means after 25 minutes, you'll have about 40% of capacity. If you plug your iPhone in via one of the USB-C ports and charge it that way, you actually charge it 30 watts, so after about 25 minutes you'd have 50% capacity. So there are some benefits to charging through a cable, but it means you don't have to carry a cable with you. Or do you? One of the nice things I like is in the box you've got this rather nifty little clip-on cable that allows you to carry a nice 60 watt compatible cable, despite it's only charged at 30 watts, but they've included a higher quality cable, which is good, to charge your devices when you're out and about if they aren't wireless compatible. It's quite a clever little clip design. It's super quick to put away and use, but it does work, and it means that you have a charger with you at all times and you have your cable with you at all times. Not bad. I have had this attached since I got it and it hasn't come off by accident, so far we're doing pretty well there. The two USB-C ports are rated at up to 30 watts, so you can charge a device fairly quickly. Now, if you're using all three at the same time, you're not necessarily going to get 75 watts out of this. You are going to be limited, things are going to slow down a bit, but I still found that it charged fast enough that I didn't run into any issues. So let's briefly demonstrate what this is like when you're charging three devices at the same time. So I thought to myself, what would be a good little test for this? And I thought, well, let's charge a camera and two phones. For me, that's a relatively realistic scenario. So I'm going to put my phone on here, and as you can see, the MagSafe element has immediately caught on, and my phone is now charging via MagSafe. Then let's plug in a Nikon Z8. This is a fairly hefty camera. It uses USB-C power delivery and it sucks quite a lot of power back when it's running. So you can switch that on, and that is also already running off battery power. And last but not least, let's just plug in an Android phone I had lying about as well, so we can charge that too. So immediately I have three devices. The Android phone just started up because it had no battery initially, and they're all charging and they're all working. And it's just that simple, it just works. I think this is a really cool setup. The fact that I've got a phone charging and two other devices at the same time is pretty perfect. Gives you a lot of flexibility. It means you don't need to worry when you're out and about as to whether you'll be able to charge your devices or not. And it just works as it's supposed to. It makes a nice change for things to be relatively simple. I think INIU definitely knew what they were doing when they created this power bank. There's quite a few power banks on the market that maybe have one USB-C port plus wireless charging, or they don't have a built-in stand, or they're really expensive and have those features. And what they've done is they've come up with a mid-priced option that delivers the higher-end capabilities, but still with good quality materials used in the process. Overall, this is kind of like a 5-in-1 to a certain extent, maybe 4-in-1 depending how you look at it. You've got the stand ability, and then you've got the wireless charging ability, and then you've got triple charging ability, and you've got your two USB-C ports. They've really thought out all the different parts and put it all together really nicely. The fact that it has a capacity as they rate it correctly is nice, especially now I can check that, and it delivers everything it's supposed to. I have no complaints at all about this power bank. It does weigh 200 grams, which is probably worth thinking about, but given the 10,000 mAh capacity, that's pretty standard too, so there's nothing outrageous going on there. Overall, I feel very happy with this power bank. It's a company I'm going to keep an eye on now because they seem to deliver what they say where they will, and I'm going to continue using this. If I run into any issues, expect a follow-up video, but I'd kind of be surprised if I did, because usually I find if I've run into an issue with a power bank, it will be within the first month, and if I haven't, they tend to just go on and on and on. So thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions about the INIU P73 SnapGo power bank, pop them in the comment section below. Always happy to help. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you do so you don't miss out on future videos. Thanks very much for watching. I hope I see you again next time. Goodbye.